going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make one of these dimension stitch beanies. Tutorial, I showed you how to do this stitch in rows, so I'm excited to get to show you how to do this in the round. And you're going to be using the same thing, at least I am. I use 3 different colors, and you won't be cutting your yarn every time. You're going to be carrying it along, so you're not going to have all these tails inside that you're going to have to hide. Oh, by the way, in this hat, my husband actually liked the look of the inside more than he did the look of the outside. And I asked my daughter which one she liked, and she said she liked this better, as do I. But my son also liked the inside. So I don't know if it's a guy thing. And you can see here I carried my yarn up. But if you wanted to make it like this, feel free. But it also has a very interesting look on the inside. Anyway, so what you're going to need for this pattern is worsted weight yarn, 4 ply for the US, 10 ply for Australia. And I use 3 colors, but you can use as many as you want. I also used a 5mm hook or a size H hook. Oh, I wanted to mention, in case you want to make a cowl or something like this from this pattern, the multiples of this stitch is 2. Because it goes down to so many rows, it can be very difficult to count each row that you need to do. So you're going to also need a tapestry, not tapestry, but a tape measure, or something like that to be able to measure. To begin, make your slip knot, and then you'll want to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then you want to slip stitch in the beginning chain to form a ring. And then you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then in this ring here, you want to work 11 double crochets. And I'm going to work over my tail as I go. So that's 1, 2. The beginning chain 2 here that we did will count as a stitch, so there's actually 3 stitches right now. But since I'm doing 11 double crochets, I'm just counting the double crochets for now. But at the end of the row, you will have a total of 12 stitches, counting that chain 2. Okay, to end round 1, you're going to slip stitch in the top of the chain 2, and I'm only going through 1 of those. For round 2, you'll chain 2, and in that space you just slip stitched in, you want to put another double crochet. So that counts as 2 stitches in the same. Then in the next stitch, you want to work 2 double crochets. You want to keep working your increases of 2 double crochets in each stitch around. We're going to be doubling our stitches this round. Round 1, we had a total of 12. At the end of this round, we're going to be having 24 stitches. Okay, when you get to the end of the round, count your stitches to make sure that you have a total of 24. And you can start counting from the last stitch worked all the way back to the beginning, and you should reach your chain 2 as your first stitch. When you have 24 stitches, slip stitch in the top at the beginning, chain 2. And again, I'm just going under 1. So for round 3, chain 2, and then you want to work 2 double crochets in the next stitch. Then in the next stitch you want to put 1 double crochet, and then you'll repeat that for the round, putting 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then the next you'll put 1 double crochet. And that's the repeating pattern that you'll do for the rest of the row, putting 2 double crochets in one and then 1 in the next. And when you get to the end of the row, you should have 36 stitches. Okay, at the end of round 3, I'm going to slip stitch in the top chain of my beginning chain 2. You should end on an increase. Your very last stitch here should have been 2 double crochets worked in it, and you should have 36 stitches. If you're making a baby size hat, this is the time that you would stop. For round 4, we're going to chain 2, and then you want to double crochet in the next stitch. Then you'll do an increase of 2 double crochets worked in the next stitch. Then you'll repeat this pattern of putting 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then the next one will be your increase, where you will put 2 double crochets, and you'll repeat this for the round, putting 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then an increase of 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You repeat this pattern all the way around, and when you get to the end, you should have 48 stitches. Okay, at the end of round 4, slip stitch in the beginning chain 2, and if you're making a toddler or child size beanie, then I would stop at this round, at this round. So for the next round, round 5, you want to chain 2, and then you'll be double crocheting in the next 2 stitches, and counting the chain 2 at the beginning, it's 3. And then you'll do an increase of 2 double crochets worked in the same stitch. So then you'll repeat this for the round, putting 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then you'll do an increase of 2 double crochets. And at the end of this round, you should have 60 stitches. And this will fit a teen or adult female. Now I'm going to back out because I want to keep it toddler size for my son. So again, when you get to the end of round 5, you'll slip stitch in the beginning of the chain 2. Then you'll chain 2 again, and then for round 6, you'll put 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Counting the beginning chain 2, that's 4 stitches, and then you'll put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So now you're going to have 4 double crochets worked in the next 4 stitches, and then an increase. So from now on, you'll be having 4 double crochets before your next increase. And at the end of that round, round 6, you'll have 72 stitches, and this size will fit an adult male. The round 5, the teen adult female, should fit a male too, unless the male that you know of has kind of a larger head. Then definitely go for the 72 stitches. Now, like I said, I'm going to back this out again because I want to make this for my son. So if you're not sure the sizings when I say the baby, toddler, child, I have all the numbers and everything on the website. So feel free to check that out. It'll help you a little bit more with sizing. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the stitch first because it'll make a lot more sense when I'm teaching you how to measure, I think. So first, let me go ahead and show you how to do the dimension stitch. Now, when you got the size you need, you want to start grabbing up your next color. And you're not going to be cutting your old color. You're just going to be grabbing on to your new color and pulling it through. All I did was get my yarn, fold it in half just a little bit on the tip here, and then that's my loop that I'm going to use to feed through my loop on my hat. And then you just drop the other one, pull it tight to tighten up the loop, and then you're ready with your new color. Now to begin, you want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. First 2 chains will count as your double crochet, and then the top is counted as a chain 1. And the second, you want to skip the very next stitch, and then the next, you want to work a double crochet. and then chain 1. Then you'll repeat that, skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch you want to put a double crochet and chain 1. Then you want to keep repeating this for the round. Skip 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1. So repeat this all the way around, and I will see you when you get back up here to the beginning. When you get to the end of the round, there's no need to chain 1 after the very last double crochet of the round, because you're going to slip stitch, and that slip stitch will count as that chain 1. You're going to be slip stitching, and not the top of the 3, but you're going to be doing it in the middle chain, the second chain. So 1, 2, and this middle chain here, I'm going to slip stitch to end my round. And now I'm going to change colors. You're going to be changing colors every round. So I've got my next color here. Again, I'm just going to fold over a little bit, and I'm not cutting my yarn. Slip stitch it into the new color, pull that old color, I should say the old color loop, then pull the old color loop tight, and then pick up the new color. Now for row 2 of the dimension stitch, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into this chain, this top space. So the same space that we slip stitched into, we're just going to go ahead and single crochet into that. Now we're going to be working in these skipped stitches from last round. So all these stitches that you skipped last round are going to be the ones we're working in. You're just going to be putting a double crochet into that stitch. And then you'll be single crocheting in the tops of every double crochet this round. So find your first double crochet here, trying to find the correct stitch here, then you'll single crochet, and then again you'll double crochet in the skip stitch 1 row down, and then you'll single crochet in the top of the double crochets, and you'll continue to do this for the round. And when you get, oh, now I'm too close, you probably can't see me. So you're going to continue to put double crochets in each of the skip stitches and a single crochet in the tops of all your double crochets. And you'll continue that all the way around till you get to the beginning. Okay, don't forget, the very last stitch of your round should be worked in that skip stitch down below. And then you'll slip stitch in the single crochet to end your round. Okay, so we got done with our round, and we're going to switch back to our main color here. All you have to do is just grab it up because you didn't cut your yarn. And I'm just playing musical chairs, musical skeins. Just want to make sure when I pull it up, I'm not going to be grabbing up a lot of my yarn underneath and hiding it. So I'm going to feed in my new color, and then I'm going to grab the old color and tug it down to make it tight. So at the beginning of this round, you're going to be chaining 2, and you're going to be working on that chain 2 here, 2 rows down. So we're on 1 row. The row we just did was the second. So the third row is this one here. So we're going to grab up the chain 2 of this dark blue color here, which was the very first row of the double crochet chain 1s that you did. So you're going to be working a front post double crochet, so you're going to have to yarn over. Then you're going to go in and pick up that chain 2, the post of it. Then you're going to work that double crochet onto the post. And then you're going to find your next double crochet and work a single crochet into that. Make sure these single crochets here that you're going in front of, that you don't work your single crochet here, but you work it in the top of the double crochets. Now we're going to work our next front post double crochet on the post of the next. This is an actual double crochet, so it'll be easier to see. So we're going to work our double crochet onto the post of that one. And then you're going to be doing a double crochet worked, a single crochet worked in the next double crochet. Then again repeat This is the one row that you're on right now. This is the second row, this is the third. So you're going to be going down to the third row down, picking up that double crochet, working a front post double crochet, and then single crocheting in your next double crochet. And you're going to repeat that for the whole round. Okay, when you get to the end of the row, your last stitch should be a single crochet, and then you're going to slip stitch in the top of the front post double crochet to end your round. Then you're going to drop that color and you're going to pick up the very next color, which for me is the same color that I just worked my double crochets in, the front post double crochets in. That's the next color that I have. Let me pause it and untangle my yarn. There we go. It's going to be a lot easier when you have all your yarn in front of you and you don't have a tripod in front of you like I do. So anyway, you're just going to drop this color, grab the next, pull it through your loop. Make sure that nothing is tugging, okay? It's very important. Now you want to pull that old color and tighten it. Now this next round is going to be the repeat for the dimension stitch for as much as you want to make it. And when you've done a few rows, well, actually when I get done with this row here, I'm going to show you how you can measure it and when you need to stop. So for this row 4 of the dimension stitch, you're going to chain 1, then you're going to go right back and do a single crochet on the top of this front post double crochet here. And then again, the next stitch is a single crochet with a double crochet down below it. And you're going to be working it now in this next double crochet. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to work, and for this row it's going to be a little bit difficult. You're not going to have the whole post of the stitch like you will after this round is over. So this is the one that's the most pain in the butt to grab. The rest will be easier. And for this round I always grabbed, I went down to the part where the two, you clearly see the two strings here, and that's where I worked my front post double crochet, and I did it loose enough where it's not going to tug so much. And then you want to work your single crochets on your front post double crochets from last round. And then again, I'm going to find those two strings down here, and I'm going to work my double crochet on those. Then single crochet in the top of your front post double crochet from last round. Then you're going to continue to work your front post double crochets going under those two strings, and then single crocheting in the tops of your front post double crochet. Like I said, this is the only row where you're going to have to actually go through those two strings. The rest is going to be the whole stitch. So this is just the only pain row for you. So anyway, you're going to continue to work that stitch all the way around, just like I showed you. Okay, at the end of your round, you should end on a front post double crochet, and then you'll be slip stitching in the beginning single crochet. And then again, you're going to want to switch to the next color, which will be your white color. Well, my white color. There we go. Playing musical strings again. Okay, you're going to bring up your next color, slip stitch it through, and to change colors. I just wanted to show you again how easy it's going to be to from now on with your next color. So we began our last row with a single crochet. So that's our big indication that since we're alternating, that since the first one is a single crochet, that we're going to want to start with a front post double crochet. Because see, our second is a front post double crochet, and we know that we're going to be working single crochets in our front post double crochets. So that's how you can always find out from round to round if you put your project down for a little while. So if it starts with a single crochet, you know you have to do a front post double crochet. If it starts with the front post double crochet, then you need to begin by single crocheting into it, and then the very next one will be a front post double crochet. So I'm going to start off by chaining 1 just to kind of secure my yarn here, and then I'm going to work my first double crochet, front post double crochet onto my first one here. and then the very next one I'm going to do a single crochet, and then you're going to repeat that all the way around. And see, it's much easier to go in to do your front post double crochets now. Just go ahead and work your front post double crochets on your double crochets down below, your front post double crochets down below, and then working a single crochet in the tops of your double crochet. And that's how you're going to be continuing this round. And when you get back up here to the beginning, since you began with the front post single crochet, front post double crochet, you'll be doing a single crochet here, and then you're going to just slip stitch into the top of the front post double crochet, because you're going to keep it the same. So your last stitch of the row, when the beginning is a front post single crochet, then your last stitch should be a single crochet, and then you just slip stitch in the top of the front post double crochet. And it's going to be like that every round. You're just going to always be alternating single crochet, front post double crochet. So when you've done a few rounds and you want to measure to see what size that you need, grab your tape measure. And sorry if mine's going to be backwards on here. You want to fold your hat in half right down the middle, so you can start by that very center row, just to make sure that it's completely in the center. And then you're going to start to measure from this point of your row down to your very last row worked to get your number. Okay? And you're going to continue to do this until you reach the desired number in inches and centimeters. I'm going to tell you right now. Now I'm going to take this sizing one at a time so that you can make sure that you have the correct sizing that you need. Now, for a baby 3 to 6 months, the whole complete hat size from the top all the way to the end of the rim, the whole hat size height should be 6.5 to 7 inches, or 16.5 centimeters, or 17.7 centimeters. It shouldn't be any longer than 17.7 centimeters. Now, that's the whole of the hat. But we need to stop a little short so that we know we need to start making our rim. Our rim is about 1 inch, or 2.5 centimeters. Excuse me, 2.5 centimeters. 2.52 is how many centimeters are in 1 inch. So we're going to need to cut off an inch, or 2.52 centimeters, off the total height of the hat, so that you know when you need to stop making your dimension stitch, and then you'll just make your rim. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the total measurement that you need to measure your hat, so that you know when you need to stop and make your rim. So for a baby size 3 to 6 months, you want to stop doing your dimension stitch when your hat measures 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters, and then you'll do your rim. For a baby size 6 to 12 months, you'll do your dimension stitch until it measures 6.5 inches or 16.51 centimeters. For a toddler, you want to stop doing the dimension stitch when your hat measures 7 inches or 17.78 centimeters. Then you'll start your rim. For a child, you want to do it, a child ages 3 through 10 years old, you'll stop the dimension stitch when your hat reaches 7.5 inches or 18.98 centimeters. And for sizes teen, adult woman, and adult man, you'll stop crocheting the dimension stitch once your hat measures 8.5 inches or 22 centimeters, and then you'll start your rim. So go ahead and continue to do the dimension stitch until you reach your desired size for the size hat you're making, and then I'm going to show you how to do this rim right now, and then I'll give you the measurements on your complete measurements of the size that your hat should be. Okay, I'm back, and like I said, I'm making a child size hat, so I need my hat to measure from tip to last row worked about sorry, I'm making a toddler size. I needed to measure 7 inches or 17.78 centimeters, and it's about 17.78 centimeters. So I'm done And I just so happened to, you know, I did my color until I reached this color again, because this is the color that I want to use for my rim as well, to frame it basically. So if you have reached the measurement that you need from the tip all the way to the last dimension stitch row worked, and you're not on this color, go ahead and do it another row until you reach the color that you want to use for your rim, and then cut the other two colors. And then I'm going to now switch to the color I want for my rim. And now for the rim, just chain 1, and then you're going to go into this first stitch and do a single crochet. Then you're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you're going to continue to work 1 stitch and each stitch all the way around. And when you get to the beginning stitch here, you can slip stitch and chain 1, or you can place your marker here and then just continue into, I'm going to go into that same stitch. And if you just want to continue to do 1 continuous round, you can do that. You can place your marker and continue to do that. But I'm going to do this 1 single crochet in each stitch around until I have a total of 5 rows or 1 inch. Because remember, I told you the rim of the hat is supposed to be 1 inch to make it the total that we need for our size hat. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my 5 rows, and I'm going to measure my hat, and I'll show you the full amount of the hat sizes that you're aiming for. Whatever stitch that you stopped here, if you stopped after 48, an increase of 48 or an increase of 36 or whatever your last number was where you were increasing here, should be the amount of stitches that you have right here. I stopped increasing after 48. And so I have 48 stitches down here at the bottom. If you have more than that, then you can decrease here while you're doing your single crochets. Okay, I just got done with my 5 rows of my rim here, and I'm measuring my hat from the tip to the last row worked. And I want to tell you that the sizes for measuring your hat: baby size 3 to 6 months, your total hat height should be 6.5 to 7 inches, or 16.5 to 17.7 inches from the top of the hat to the rim. Baby 6 to 12 months, the hat height should be 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. For a toddler 12 months to 3 years old, your hat height should be 8 inches or 20 centimeters. A child ages 3 through 10 years old, the hat height should be 8.5 to 8.5 inches or 21.5 centimeters. For teen, adult woman, and adult male, the hat height should be 9 to 10 inches, and the centimeters should be 22.8 to 25.4. Now I'm making this for my son, and he is between 3 and 10 years old. He's 5. He's a child, so it should be 21.5 is the total hat height I should get for a child. And this one is 21.5. So it's like, 1 centimeter less than what I need. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and do 1 more row of single crochets, or just leave it at that, which I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. But I'm good, so I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, and cut my yarn. I'm leaving a little tail there so I can hide it with the tapestry needle, which I've done. And also don't forget to hide these 2 tails on the bottom and 2 tails on the top inside of your hat. And that's it. As you can see, my son's hat's a little bit longer than my daughter's. This is how I started getting the measuring system going, because my daughter's didn't fit over her ears so well. So I knew I'd made it too short. So I started measuring, and I got the right measurements for you guys. So hopefully now you can also make a hat that's proper size So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button and share this video. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe or you're a first-time watcher, please don't forget to do that. Thank you so much for watching.